Hi there, Bob Beechell again with another short video. This time it's just a few thoughts on two things I bought recently. Firstly this, my new iPhone 16 Pro Max, and also this, if you can see it, my Series 10, the new Series 10 Apple Watch. Well, as regards the phone, there's not a great deal to say, is there? It's a very incremental update from the 15 Pro Max. The two main differences, I think, are firstly the increased screen size. It's now gone up to 6.9 inches uh, and with thinner bezels. And as I said in my video on the 15 Pro Max, I'm really a big fan now of of the biggest phone. I really do like the large display. In some ways, it's with it being so large now, it's almost like having an iPad mini. Obviously not as large as that, but it's so large now that you can see lots of information on it. I really do like the large size. I know a lot of people don't. They think it's too large in their hands. I must admit, I don't find that. Maybe I've got big hands, but I really do like it. So having gone with the Pro Max last time, I've kept with it. Um, the other difference is this new camera control button, which is here. Um, Now, I've read some reviews of this. Some people like it, some people don't. Well, I'm in the first camp. I do like it, with reservations. I think it's a good idea because it is much easier now to get to the camera very quickly. Previously, I used to, I mean, you could have set it up on the action button, but I used the action button for something else. I used to have to open the iPad and then go to the camera app. Now it's a simple tap of the button and you're into the camera app. And of course, you can then depress it again to take a picture. Of course, it's also got a couple of that extra feature where if you do a kind of light double tap, it brings up the new sort of options menu where you can change the zoom, the tone. You can choose one of the new styles. You can also change the exposure. Things that you could already do by just tapping on the screen, but I find I use the button more, but it can be a little bit fiddly to get the two, the sort of double light tap on the button accurately, and then you have to scroll. You can scroll with your finger on it to do the other one, to choose the option you want, and then light tap again to select it. It takes a bit of getting used to. I think I've pretty much got used to it now, but I think I'm not totally convinced on the way it's been set up, and I think that's the issues that some people have had with it. But on balance, I think it's a very useful addition. Of course, once Apple introduces an update so that it then becomes like a sort of shutter button on a standard camera where you can press it once, or sort of halfway in some way, I guess, or a light press to focus, to lock the focus and the exposure, and then continue pressing it to take the picture. So it becomes like the shutter button on a DSLR, for example. Then I think it will be more useful. So overall, I'm happy with this addition. Um, Although it can be a little fiddly, I agree with that. Overall, I think it's been worthwhile adding it. And of course, they've also now made the ultra wide camera a 48 megapixels sensor, the same as the main camera. Unfortunately, the telephoto, the 5x telephoto, is still 12 megapixels. Pity they didn't make that 48 megapixels as well. Probably they're keeping that for the next update. I think Apple does actually understandably stagger some of the improvements to the camera so that they've always got something extra to add to the new model. I mean, I suspect they probably almost certainly could have made all three cameras here, the ultra wide, the wide, and the telephoto, all 48 megapixels if they wanted to, but they do hold things back in reserve, I think. So doubtless in the next model, the iPhone 17, that will be there. One thing about the Pro Max, which people have pointed out, is that or the Pro line, the Pro models generally, is that the difference between the standard iPhone 16 and 16 Plus and the Pro models is not as large as it used to be, because the standard models now, I believe, have the action button, they have the camera control. They don't have the ProMotion display, which again I do like, but that's that's something you could get used to not having. So is that a good thing? You could say, well, what's the point of buying the Pro models? Well, there are still some advantages, still some extra features like the telephoto lens, but on the other hand, I think it's nice that people who just want to get the basic iPhone model don't miss out on some of the key new features. So that's really all I want to say about the new 16 Pro Max. It's actually the Series 10 watch, which I'm really more pleased with in the sense of the improvements. So I've got it here. I always go just for the basic model. So it's just the black. It's the nice black aluminium one that they brought out now. I think it's got a nice strap to it. But so I never go for the higher model, which used to be stainless steel. It's now titanium. I don't need that. There's no difference in functionality. It's just whether you think the titanium looks better. Maybe it does, but it doesn't bother me. What's really nice about this is the Series 10, and the one I had previously was the Series 8. I missed out the Series 9. I tend not to upgrade my watch every year, as I try to do with the phone. I don't need to. And so there's been, an additional jump in features from last year, or from the Series 8 that I had. And I have to say, I'm really, really pleased with this new Apple Watch. I've always liked my Apple Watch. I had one from the very beginning. I was one of the people who bought the first model, several years ago, when it was, okay, but relatively slow. Of course, as time's gone on, the processor inside has got better and better and faster. It's now much better, much more responsive. But what I like about it are two things. Firstly, it has, of course, this bigger display, and it is, in fact, as Apple said in their video, that it's actually the biggest display on an Apple Watch now. It's actually even bigger than the one on the Ultra, which kind of pleases me, seeing as I couldn't really afford to buy the Ultra. I didn't really want it, to be honest, but it was very pricey. And now to actually have one up on Ultra owners with just the basic Apple Watch is yeah, I rather like that. So I do like the display. It's really, really nice. I do, again, like the additional screen real estate. I like the fact that it's now thinner and therefore I believe lighter. Certainly, doesn't feel heavy or large on my wrist. But strangely, the feature which I really do like, and I didn't think I would make much of it, is this double tap feature, which was first introduced with the Series 9. I thought it was perhaps a bit of a gimmick, but I actually find that I really do like it. Being able to just double tap like that, and well, that will answer a phone call, I believe. I don't tend to get many phone calls on my watch. But what it also does is it cycles, as you continue to cycle through, it cycles through the different apps, or the apps that it thinks that you might want to use. I think that this used to be called the Siri face on it, but it's now something that they introduced with the last software last year, I think it was, which would have been Watch OS 10, would it? And you can, of course, get to that by just turning the wheel here. What's it called? The wheel on it, whatever it is. Anyway, I can't remember. But you can turn to do that. But actually, it's much easier just to double tap, and it just cycles through them. And it's really, really useful. As I say, I was very surprised at just how useful I found that. I didn't think that, I thought that that double tap, well, it'll be okay. It might be, it's a bit gimmicky, but you know, I eat my words on that. I think it's a very useful feature. I mean, there are occasions, of course, when it's difficult to, you know, your hands are full, you want to see something on your watch, um, which is not immediately, you know, because normally when you raise the watch, you see the clock face. And being able to simply double tap and then to find the thing you want is very, very useful. Um, so I really am pleased with this Series 10. I'm really glad I upgraded this time. I think it's an improvement definitely over the Series 8. I guess not so much over the 9, but as I had a Series 8, and yep, I'm very pleased with it. So both devices, both upgrades, I'm happy with. I say I do try if I can to upgrade my phone every year. One of the reasons I do that is because if you upgrade after a year, you do can Apple are very give you a pretty generous trade-in on it, which obviously if I waited 2 years wouldn't be as wouldn't be half as generous. So that's the reason. One, apart from the fact I do like to get the new phone with the new camera features, even if they are relatively incremental. But financially, I think in some ways it actually works out better to do it every year because of the good trading that you get, which means that what you're having to pay in order to get the upgrade is you know relatively a small amount. That's not a small amount. It's still it costs me a fair amount, but I think it works out cheaper in a way to do it every year because of the good trading price than to wait 2 years. That's my excuse anyway for always wanting the latest phone. So I'm happy with the 16 Pro Max, especially the bigger display and the camera control. I'm even more happy with the Series 10.